Well, hey guys, how's it going this morning? Hope you're crushing it. I was in my office doing a little studying this morning. I started thinking about all of our guys in the Mastermind. You see that picture behind me? It was from a live event a couple of years ago. And I started thinking about some of the questions that we ask on a regular basis and like, what is the top needs? What are the things that guys need today in order to take their life to the next level? And I started kicking it around and I said, hey, I normally don't get on Saturdays, but I thought I would get on and just share with you a few of my thoughts. At this event, I asked a few questions. I said, before you got into the Mastermind, like what was one of the primary things that you needed the most? Where did you need the most help? And I asked two questions. First of all, I asked, who in here, when they joined the Mastermind, had great clarity? And there was only a couple of hands that went up out of 100, 125 people. And I thought, man, what is it that we're doing today that offers us a great amount of clarity? Like, how do we even get clarity? We get to a fork in the road and we don't know which way to go. And the other one is related to focus. And so many guys said that they don't have the ability to focus today because we're getting inundated with all this information and it's hard to determine what to focus on once we even get the clarity. Listen, I started thinking when I was a young guy, back 18 years old, just starting my first business, and I went out there and it was like being in the wild, wild west. I was doing whatever I could do to make it. I didn't have anybody around me. I had a couple of business partners that were silent business partners, but I didn't have anybody that I could count on each and every day. So I just grinded out. I would do something. Sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. And so I learned for decades on my own. And then went on to sell that business and started another business. Same thing. Like I would have all these questions and I didn't have anybody to go to. I would call up some of my buddies, but I got to feeling bad about calling them because it's like, man, you only call me when you need something. Like, what is it that you need? And I would share what it is that I needed and they would give me some advice. But quite honestly, oftentimes the main thing they were trying to do was to get off the phone and get back to their life because they had things that they needed to take care of. And that's a fair thing to do. There's nothing wrong with that. But we can't be picking the brains of all of our friends all the time when you need something. And then comes along Dave Ramsey, invites me to join his Mastermind group. And y'all know the story, those that have been in my community for any length of time. I didn't want to do that. I was like, man, I don't want to go in there and be vulnerable and transparent. I don't want to let you guys know that I don't know everything that I should know. I've got this facade up and I want you to think that I've got it figured out. I want you to think that everything is great with me and Robin and my children are angels and I don't have any cash flow problems and I'm making all of my payments on time. I didn't want you to know that I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know my butt from third base in a lot of those areas. And then when Dave invited me to join the Mastermind group, I was like, okay, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to act like I know what I'm doing. And then I started hearing guys say, hey, I don't know what I'm doing either in many areas. And there's places that I'm having trouble with my wife and with my kids. And there's problem areas in my business and I don't know what to do. And I was like, oh my gosh, I finally found somebody that's willing to tell the truth and they can help me with my problems as well. So about 3 or 4 months into that, I started sharing. I said, hey, I don't understand this in business. I need this relationship. I need an area of accountability and doing some things that I need to do. And they started calling me, giving me the resources, giving me the level of accountability that I needed, started teaching me things more about business. And I was like, where were y'all at 20 years ago when I really needed you? Listen, guys, I'd give anything if somebody had introduced to me the concept of masterminds. And they didn't. You're like, Big A, you talk about masterminds all the time, all these Facebook Lives. That's because that's what I do for a living. And I'm going to keep on talking about them until I die or Jesus comes back, one or the other, because they're that valuable. When you look at these guys in this picture, the camaraderie that they have, their willingness to come together and share resources and ideas and hold each other accountable and give each other tips and point out their blind spots and encourage their superpowers, there's nothing on earth like it. Nothing. Now listen, if you're doing, I got to take a drink of my coffee. Hold on a minute. That coffee's good on a Saturday morning. I'm just here to tell you that's my third cup and I'm pretty wired up this morning. But listen, when you have people that can get together on a regular basis and they're sharing difficult times, or they're sharing wins. It doesn't always have to be difficult times. They're sharing wins, things that are working for them on a regular basis. It's encouraging. It is to me. I get in on these calls every single week, and we start out with big wins, and it's motivating. It's like you're not hearing people cry about all the sorrows in the world and everybody's being treated unfair. It's like, man, let's share some positive things. Let's share some things that's going to get us motivated. Let's share some things that are exciting. Now, everything is not coming up rainbows and sunshine. I don't mean that. But we are the average of the 5 people we're around all the time. And if you're around motivation and excitement, it gets you headed down a good path that you can have that level of success too. And that's what I love about being in the mastermind. Listen, if the things that you're doing today are working, like you're smart, you don't need any resources, you don't need any encouragement, you don't need people around you to do beta tests, and you don't need introductions, and you don't need a high level of accountability, and you're doing everything just the way you're supposed to. You're making plenty of money. You and your spouse's relationship is right at a 10. It couldn't get any better. And your kids are angels, and you don't need any partnership arrangements. Well, you can cut this video off. You don't even need to watch this video because I'm not talking to you. But for me, I need that. I need people around me. Listen, we've got people that say, hey, why would I pay to be in a mastermind group? Like, what is the purpose of paying to be in a group? I got plenty of friends and things like that. Yeah, you do have friends. But the truth is that you need to be meeting regularly with somebody. And a lot of people say, well, I got a couple buddies and we get together once a month. I don't know about you, but I need interaction daily, not weekly, not monthly. I need guys around me every day because I'm making important decisions. Like, we're moving the ball down the field, and I need people at my disposal that I can go, hey, is this the right funnel? Is this the right tool? Is this the right path I'm going? Is this the right book I need to be promoting? Is this the right resource that I need for whatever it is that I'm doing? I need accessibility. I need people that I can call and say, hey, I've got this huge network, and I can go at any moment and get everything I need. I'm not operating in isolation. And I did that for 20 years. And if you're doing that today, I want to encourage you that you don't have to. You don't have to operate in isolation. You're sitting there at your desk and you have no idea if you're going down the right path. You have no idea what the next right resource is for you. Listen, I met Jeff Hoffman at an event, the guy that started Priceline, and he was telling me some of the things that they do in their mastermind that was unbelievable, and how it had really, really poured gasoline on everything that he's doing and took him to a next level. And I'm like, this is a multi-billionaire telling me these things. And then you start reading about Andrew Carnegie, and then you start reading about Napoleon Hill, and then you think, these guys are really promoting masterminds. I mean, they're worth billions and tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. And you think, why should I be willing to do this alone in isolation when guys like that find it necessary? Hey, what about Henry Ford? Now, there's a guy that did okay for himself. He attributes a lot of his success to his mastermind group. What about some names that are modern day? You know, the guys that talk about, what about Pat Flynn? What about Ray Edwards? What about all these guys today that are saying, hey, masterminds are where it's at because I get that encouragement. I get these people coming to me on an ongoing basis, helping. Listen, here's another thing that it's not only done for me as far as isolation, but it's helped get me clarity. And that's a difficult thing today, man. There's so much information out there. It's like there's a lot of great opportunities out there today, but what's the right thing for me? How can I get clarity on being the best dad and the best husband and the best business person and the best, friend to a colleague or a mentor? What is it the thing that I need to do to get that level of clarity? And then what about focus? Once you get the clarity, if you can't focus, then you can't implement. And you get people around you every single week that hold you accountable. And that's what we do in Iron Sharpens Iron. We have an accountability tool that you fill out every Thursday. And it tracks you in 5 key areas of your life and helps give you that level of focus so that you'll accomplish your goals and dreams. I did this 5 years ago personally, and it was in 2015 when I did this. It was Come As You Will Be in 2020. And it took me 5 years to accomplish the things. And here's the neat part. I had 5 goals, 3 of those goals I doubled. And the reason I doubled, these were stretch goals. These were very aspirational goals. These weren't some, goals that anybody could have accomplished. I mean, these were like big time goals. And I more than doubled 3 of them. 2 of them I didn't hit. 1 of them I could have, and 1 of them I just missed. But here's the thing, that because of my level of focus, because I had mastermind members around me asking me each and every week, hey, I'm better off today than I was 5 years ago by double of what I hoped to get there. We do a program in Iron Sharpens Iron called Come As You Will Be in 2023, and where we have now 150 people holding each other accountable in all these groups. We have 20 mastermind groups today that are absolutely crushing it. And they're helping you get out of isolation. They're helping you get clarity. They're helping you to get focused. And then the other thing that I just wanted to talk about today was productivity. Like, I know I have clarity, you say, and I have a level of focus, but I'm not very productive. And we help you get productive. There's many strategies that you can use to do that. But if you will really focus on those 4 things, I think you could have a lot of the same level of success that I've had and others in the group, but maybe even far greater. I want to talk to you just a little bit about the reason some people are not in mastermind groups today. The first one is they say, I don't have time. And I'm like, well, all these wealthy, very, very, very successful people, we got to agree that Henry Ford's pretty successful, right? And he made a point to be in his mastermind group every single week. And the reason is because he needed that camaraderie. He needed that beta test. He needed people to hold him accountable. He needed people to call him out and throw the flag occasionally, right? Andrew Carnegie, he knows a little bit about the steel industry. And he said that he attributes the vast majority of his wealth to his mastermind group. I just want you to ask yourself the question, why do you think you don't need to be in a group? Listen, if it's my group, that's great. That'd be a blessing. But some group, why don't you invest the time? Now, when I was in the Eagles group for 10 or 12 years with guys here in Nashville, and y'all have heard me talk about Dan Miller and Dave Ramsey and Ken Abraham and Jeff Mosley and Ron Doyle, some of the amazing guys, they invested an hour and a half to 2 hours every single week for us to meet for 10 or 12 years. And I'm like, if these guys have taken their businesses to where they are today, Dave Ramsey's got over 1,000 employees today on 600 or 700 radio stations. He was on 1 when we started together back almost 30 years ago, right? He's got people around him that inspire him, that encourage him. Well, why do you think you shouldn't be in a group? Y'all just got to help me understand that. All these successful people, and you're like, yeah, Big A, I get it, and I should be in the group. The second thing is the cost. And I get it, it costs money. And you're like, why would I pay money to be in a group when I have friends? I have friends everywhere out there. Why would I pay to be in a group? Well, just keep meeting with that free group long term and see how many of them show up on a regular basis. They have nothing vested. And as soon as they get an opportunity to go play golf, or as soon as they get an opportunity to sell another product, or go on vacation with their family, or do whatever that suits them best, they're not going to show up. And then you're not going to have that level of accountability. You're not going to have that consistency. You're not going to have people that know you well that can give you good feedback. I got to take another drink of my coffee, so hold on. My Garth Brooks cup. How you like that? Garth Brooks lives here in Nashville, not too far from here. And my good friend Trevor George gave me that for Christmas. But anyway, these people are coming to this get-together that's free, that you're participating in. And you know it well as I do. You know half of them are not showing up the majority of the time. And you know that. You have to agree with me. Give me a thumbs up or a nod if you know and you agree. They're not showing up. But when you have people paying money, like they don't want to miss. They want to be there because they want to get their value. Now they can be the giver and not the taker. They can be the person that is showing up and saying, hey, I don't want to miss. Now, week after week, month after month, year after year, these people get to know you. And they understand your propensity. They understand who your spouse is and about your children and about your dreams and about your goals because they've been meeting with you week after week. Now, these people can give you good advice. right? People that just go, oh, you just need to go do this. Well, you don't know anything about me. You don't know anything about whether that is good advice that you're giving me or not. And now you're meeting with these friends. Half of them are showing up. The next week they come back and you got to catch them up. And I'm just telling you, right, some of you are blessed to have a small group that you meet on a regular basis. That's awesome. Just keep doing it. If it's working, they're showing up, you're getting value, just keep doing it. But if you're scratching your head saying, hey, I've tried this over and over and over and it just doesn't work, you need to get into a paid group where there's a commitment where they show up. And I just want to tell you, once you do that, you're going to see the value that I'm talking about over and over. And some of you are saying, hey, there's just no way. My spouse wouldn't let me pay that much. That's a lot of money, and I don't know if I'm going to be getting any return on investment. That's just not the right way to look at it. Let me just be totally honest with you. Our groups are $575 a month to be in. You're like, oh my gosh, there's no way I could do that. No, but you'll go out here and pay $400 or $500 a month for a car note, and you'll pay $200 or $300 a month for cable, and then you'll pay for Netflix and Hulu and all that stuff. And then you'll go out there and spend $300 or $400 for your cell phone, and you'll go to Starbucks every day and spend $5 for a cup of coffee, and you'll go out to dinner 2 or 3 nights a week and spend $40 or $50 on dinner. But you don't want to pay $575 for personal, professional, and spiritual development that could radically change the paradigm shift of your life, where you're making double or triple what you're making today financially. Listen, not even talking about becoming the husband that God called you to be, or the dad that God called you to be, where you're developing boundaries and you've got guardrails and you've got people around you that will throw the flag on you and call you out when you're not really doing the things that you should do. Now your life is excelling beyond anything that you ever possibly imagined, because you have people around you. Listen, if that's not worth $575 a month, what is that, $6,000 or $7,000 a year? I know that is a lot of money. But the people in our groups are staying for years and years and years. We have guys that have been meeting in our mastermind groups for 6 and 7 years. Now, they wouldn't do that if they were wasting their money, right? We have guys in our group today that are exponentially greater off than they were when they joined. We've got a couple of brothers. I'll tell you a couple of stories. They wouldn't mind me sharing this story with you. We've got a couple of guys in our mastermind group that they invest in real estate. And when they first started investing, they joined our group 3 years ago. They had 4 properties, which was amazing. That was great. I mean, they had 4 properties. When they got in, they got out of isolation. They were no longer. They had people around them in their groups every single week. They got a great amount of clarity. They said, I know the way we're going to go forward. I know exactly what we're going to do now. They got focused because we have an accountability tool. We have members that hold them accountable. 36 months later, here we are. Let's fast forward. 36 months later, they own 85 properties. Okay, 85 properties. They had 4 3 years ago when they started. And they, to their own admission, attribute their success to their mastermind group, Iron Sharpens Iron Mastermind Group, because they got out of isolation, because they got great clarity, because they had a level of focus, and because they were very productive in everything that they did every day. They paired off the shiny object syndrome. They got laser focused, and today they have 85 properties. Not only that, a lot of their investors came from within the brotherhood because they got to know them, they trusted them, they liked them, and now they're doing business. I could tell you stories for hours like that are in Iron Sharpens Iron today as a result of getting in this brotherhood, having that camaraderie, having that level of accountability, getting out of isolation, being productive. And I know, listen, I'm singing to the choir with some of you. I know that a lot of you guys out there today are crushing it. You're killing it. And some of you will just say flat out, I don't need to be in there, Big A. Hey, go ahead and hit the off button right now. Just hit the off button. But if you want something like that, I'm going to end with this. I'm going to just tell you. And my team, I may get in trouble over this, but that's all right. That's the privilege you got of owning the company. You can do whatever you want. Here's the thing. If you want to get in Iron Sharpens Iron and you say, hey, I'm going to get in, I'm going to do what you say, I'm going to fill out the application, go to viewfromthetop.com and an application will pop up. It's right there. You just fill it out. It's in there. No obligation. You're not committing. You're just saying, hey, I want to see if I'm a good fit. I just want to see if this is for me. Fill out the application. I'll give you a call, or one of our team members will give you a call. Most of the time it's me because I want to get to know you, but sometimes it's our team members. We find out if you're a good fit. If you're not a good fit, we'll tell you. We'll just say, hey, this is not for you. You need to go somewhere else, and we'll walk you through that. But once you get in and you do what we tell you, you reach out, you cross-pollinate, you get involved in other groups, you come to the next chapter, you do the expert interviews where we invite all these amazing people. We do interviews, and we do the Come As You Will Be program, and we do the leadership program. We do the Man in the Middle. I could talk for 3 hours on some of the stuff that we do. We do all this stuff. And in 6 months, you do this for 6 months. And listen, I got it on recording right here, so you've got it as a record. You can go back to this. In 6 months, if you come to me and you say, hey, Big A, like it was good, but it wasn't valuable. I didn't really get the value out of it that I thought that I was going to give out. Once you do that, what I'm going to do is give 100% of your money back. 100%. Like no risk. I'm taking 100% of the risk out. You're like, Big A, you won't really do that. Here, I'm recording it right now on Facebook Live. You can use this as a recording. 100%, I'm a man of integrity. I do what I say. 100%. If you do this, you get involved, you have no risk. I give all your money back. And I don't know who else will do that. I don't know how many places do that. And we've been here for years and years and years. We're not a startup. We got 20 mastermind groups. We're in 9 different countries all over the world. We have the most amazing members you've ever seen in your entire life. These guys are crushing it in many arenas, and different people get in for different reasons. But I just want to encourage you right now that if you're interested and you say, this is for me and I want to go for it, I don't do many pitches. Many of y'all have been on here tracking and following me for years. You see these Facebook Lives I do. We're always trying to give value. Always, always, always. We're trying to teach, encourage, push you forward. We're all the time trying to do that. And you can call it a pitch if you want to, or an invitation. I like that better. I like the word invitation better. I'm inviting you to be in Iron Sharpens Iron Mastermind Group, and I've taken out 100% of the risk by saying in 6 months, if it's not for you, we'll give 100% of your money back. So that's the best I can do today. That way we can allow you to come and try it and see if it's for you and see if you like it. We're going to be launching many, many, many groups. And you're like, why would you grow? Because that gives us more resources. It gives us greater opportunity to provide more value. It gives us an opportunity to network better. It gives us an opportunity to grow something that is amazing that other people want to be involved in as well. Because now you've got so many other places that you can go and pull from. You can meet people all over the country and all over the world. All these amazing people. It just keeps opening up doors for you like you could never imagine. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe there's a question. Maybe you've got a question that I haven't answered here today. Put it in the chat box or the thread below the comments. Just put your question in there and I'll go back, or my team will, and we'll answer your questions. I don't know. I guess I already in because I'm out of stuff to talk about. But the thing is that I think this could help you. I really think this is something that could take your life to the next level. I think it's something that you could grow personally and professionally and spiritually in. I think that it's something that would add tremendous value. So if you're interested and you want to be in this picture next time, half the guys had left before we took that picture. We took that on a Sunday at the live event. We do live events, by the way, in April and October here in Nashville. I didn't even mention to you that at the live event, I pay for everything. You're like, what? I pay for your hotel. We put you up at the Marriott or the Sheraton. I pay for all your meals and we feed you like a king. I pay for the speakers. We bring in amazing speakers sometimes. Sometimes we don't bring in any speakers because we have amazing speakers within this body of men. But we bring in people like Pete Vargas and Mike McAllowitz and Brian Moran and Dan Miller and Ken Davis. And I mean, the list could go on and on for hours of the people that we bring in. And you get to hang out with those guys and ask them questions and get feedback. But I pay for all that. All you got to do is get there. It comes out of your dues. Everybody that's in ISI, Iron Sharpens Iron, said that the 2 live events that we do a year is worth the cost of the annual admission. That alone, they say, is worth it. And then we meet every week for an hour on a video call to where we help propel your life to the next level. Listen, hey, come join us in Iron Sharpens Iron. We'll see you guys. Have a good one.